I have completely stepped away from my Cricut and now I am using my Creality laser engraver. I always used to use my Cricut and I got kind of tired of that. The Cricut kind of would sometimes mess up the vinyl, it wouldn't cut right, and so I kind of was done with that. But now I am trying out my Creality to cut through some vinyl. And just to be clear, you can only cut through certain types of vinyl that are laser safe. And so make sure you check that before you try and cut vinyl with your laser engraver. So this is how I did it. All right, in order to figure out what power setting would work best with the vinyl, I did a test run. I did it here. I didn't have the speed or power etched onto it. I just kind of guessed based on the settings that I had on the machine which row was what. And so then I did it a second time and I fine-tuned it so it only went to 20% and 90%. 6,000 was the maximum speed I said, and 600 was the slowest speed I said. And then what I did was I tested to see which one of these would be weeded the easiest. And so I found that this one was pretty easy to weed, as well as just kind of going down this angle was the best way to figure out which one would weed the easiest. And I was also checking on the backside to see which one had the least amount of damage to come through on the clear plastic. So I was taking all that into account and which ones would pull off the easiest. As you can see down here, it started getting to a point where it would just burn right through. So then what I thought, okay, I'll try and see if I could use the laser engraver to weed out the vinyl itself. And I was able to get 5,000 and like 35% power, and it weeded it out pretty well without damaging the plastic, but it left a residue on there. And so the 5,000, it did scratch off pretty easy without having damage to the clear plastic on the backside here. But I decided I'd just weed it naturally rather than doing it with the laser. I will do a test run at this speed to see if I can weed it out and get rid of that residue and then iron it on a shirt and see if it actually works. I did stop doing the test early because it just started burning through every single time. So if I was going to fine tune this again, I would have it at a minimum of my minimum speed at 3,500 and then maximum power at 35. And then I would set a different parameter lower to test run it. So when I do that again, that's what I'll try out. All right, I'm gonna try and cut this out of vinyl. I got my machine set to 1,200 millimeters per minute and a power of 20. So let's see how this does. So right here, I got my vinyl. All right, so here is the final result after laser etching it out. And so now I'm gonna weed it out real quick, see how well it did. I got some really fine areas right here, so we'll see. I mean, this is the laser etcher and I'm just now learning what to do. All right, so there we go. Got it all cut out. I think it looks pretty good. Of course, I bent the plastic here, so now this is gonna be all messed up. I go to iron it. All right, there we go. Of course, what I probably did do was forget to mirror it. And so this is gonna be backwards, but all in all, I think it looks good. I think the detail is still there. So we're gonna see how it looks when I heat press it on there. This was one of my trial attempts using a different level of heat and obviously a different size, but you can kind of see here, how it burned through the actual plastic, and I lost a little bit of the detail down here in the spray paint. It's not bad, but it wasn't what I was wanting. So when I blew it up, it turned out a lot better. So we'll see how both these heat press. I think I'm just gonna put this on like the sleeve of the shirt, but it's still cool. This heat press that I have says for 250 degrees at 30 seconds. And so I got 30 seconds right there. Now it's up to temperature to 250 degrees. So I'm gonna press it down for a preheat of about 3 seconds, it said. Once this is all ready, press it down and push the down arrow to start your timer. Now your timer is going. Release the heat press. Move it out of the way.
Let's see.
Nice. So I'm just going to do this one more. I'm going to press this down again. Just going to do this for about 10-15 seconds. You can press the down arrow to cancel the timer so your alarm's not going off. There we go. Heat pressed on real nice. Worked real well. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm going to do the back side. Do a 2-second preheat. All right. Not bad for my first time. Pretty happy with it. I think my kid will like it. And now I'm going to put a little one right on the sleeve here. I'm just going to do it right here. This was just a test run that I did, but so I don't really care what it looked like. It was just me trying to figure out how to use my laser engraver to cut vinyl. So here we go. All right, so here is how the shirt turned out after I heat pressed it. So I think it turned out pretty well. The detail's pretty nice. This arm sleeve one, even though it wasn't that great, it still turned out all right. So pretty happy with it.